Not a ghost story purse, but I'll repost what I posted in the spooky Greentext thread since it has lost steam and I want to hear other Anons' opinions on what could have happened. B21, best friend just got his permanent driver's license and wants to use his car to go camping in the Alps in the south of France. It's me and 2 friends including the one with the car. We're thinking we can drive from Belgium all the way to the south of France in one day, so we leave in the morning. After hours of driving and a lot of stress for my best buddy, he's the only one who could drive, we decide to camp out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere since it's getting dark. This is somewhere in the south of France, no idea where exactly, but it was all small roads and forest all around us, with no lights, not even street lights. We find a clearing on the side of the road, park there, take our camping shit out of the trunk and head into the woods to find a suitable place to place our tent. At this point the sun is almost gone and the forest is really dense, but luckily we find a clearing and quickly make a fire and set up our tent. We boil some water over the campfire in our pot and eat our instant noodles, smoke a cigarette, piss out the fire and get in the cramped tent to go to sleep. This is a small tent so it had us lying in there shoulder to shoulder, all 3 of us next to each other, with me on the left side. It's a full moon so there's some of that light shining through the canopy of trees onto the front of our tent. I'm an insomniac so I was probably lying there with my eyes closed for about half an hour, when a light source to the left of me caught my attention through my closed eyelids. I open my eyes, look to my left and I see what looks like a flashlight in the distance, about 100 meters away, shining right onto our tent. I figure it's a forest ranger coming to tell us we can't camp here or some shit, so I whisper to the other guys and ask if they're awake. They are, and they see the light too. We're discussing what to say to the guy when he inevitably tells us off, and we decide our bilingual Dutch/French speaking friend is to handle it since me and my buddy can't speak French for shit. All the while this light is coming closer. At a certain distance, I would say about 20 meters away from the tent. Keep in mind it's hard to gauge distance of an outside light source when inside a tent in a pitch black forest. Except for the moonlight. The light just suddenly goes out completely. All of us shut the fuck up for a while but we hear nothing, literally dead silent environment. After about 30 seconds I break the silence and ask the guys what the fuck that light was. Of course, they didn't know either. Remember earlier I said the moon was shining on the front of our tent? Well, I look to the front of the tent and I see a fucking shadowy figure standing literally right in front of our tent, its silhouette cast by the moonlight. From the angle we were in you could clearly make out a torso, long arms to the side, and about half of the length of its legs, but the head wasn't projected on the tent. Internally I'm freaking the fuck out at this point so I grab my puny ass Swiss Army knife and look over to the guys, they see it too. My bilingual friend starts saying shit in French to this figure.
Allô? Qui es-tu?
Stuff to that effect. No answer, this figure is just standing there with its long arms by its side, motionless. At this point I'm convinced some fucking lunatic is ready to murder or rape us and my survival instinct takes over, so I open the Swiss knife. Silently grab the zipper and then as quickly as I could I opened the tent and just jumped out to try to tackle this person to the ground in one fell swoop. I jump out and there is nothing there. Nothing at all. Me and my friends look around the tent, we shine our flashlight behind the closest trees. Nothing. Now this is what makes it extra freaky. It was the middle of a dry summer and the forest floor was littered with dry ass sticks and leaves. No fucking way anyone could step over to our tent without making a single sound, man, nor animal, let alone nope out of there in the split second it took me to open the tent. This thing, whatever it was, somehow was able to sneak up to the front of our tent without stepping on the fucking floor. To rule out pareidolia I went back in the tent, closed it up and looked to see if the figure we saw was somehow a figment of our imagination caused by clouds passing by the moon or trees or whatever. There were no shadows in front of our tent at all anymore. My bilingual friend took a scare shit behind the closest tree and then we noped the fuck out of the forest to sleep in the car that night. We just left the tent in the forest and came back to pick it up the morning after. Rest of the trip was uneventful. Anyone have any idea what we witnessed that night? I've googled cryptids from France but nothing came up that matched what we saw that night. If any one of you has any ideas, please let me know. This is by far the creepiest shit me and my friends ever witnessed and it's a complete mystery.
Spooky stuff. Do you know anything about the woods you guys were camping in? Maybe there were prior suicides or maybe murders in the area. Possibly someone still lost after their death.
Unfortunately, I don't know the location we were in. It was somewhere in a desolate wooded area in the south of France, but that's all I know. You're thinking ghosts? But how does that explain the light?